Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, television viewers on the internet, we are live from Birmingham. My name is Hanson Johansson.
Uh-oh.
Oh, yeah. And to my left is Smack Daddy.
Hey,
and we will bring you the final bout of this afternoon, featuring Team Finland and Team Netherlands.
Going to be an interesting bout, this one. Both teams have put on some strong showing so far over the weekend. I will take this opportunity as well to apologise if my voice is coming through a little bit croaky. I do apologise for it. There was a fantastic game everyone saw earlier on between USA and Team Scotland. Being a Scotsman myself, I promised I wouldn't get too excited. I kind of lost the plot a little bit with that one, not going to lie. It was a fantastic game, so I'll apologise in advance.
Well, we've been treated to some fantastic herbal lozenges, I believe they are called in this country, courtesy of Quadrigas. He says it works, so we are sucking away here, trying to heal our throats after that exciting bout indeed.
Indeed. Well, I think this is the first bout of the day for today for Team Netherlands, so they will be getting their national anthem done just shortly, from what I can tell, so we will be handing across to our in-house announcers when it comes to that point. The joys of just the way the layout's been today, unfortunately, for squeezing some teams in and making sure they get their time on track. Looks like the referees are just giving... Oh! A little bit of a spill for a Netherlands during the warm-up.
Yeah, practicing their falling.
It's always a difficult thing to perfect.
And having your first bout at 6:30 local time is quite late, so we'll see how Team Netherlands' preparations, if it will bear fruit.
Fingers crossed for them. They've had the day to take in other bouts, keep themselves calm, warm themselves up gradually, not get too involved too early on, so we'll see what benefit it's had for the Netherlands.
Of course, Team Finland has had one bout already where they defeated Team Sweden quite handily, and I saw them relaxing the entire team in the only sofa that I've seen so far in the recreational areas off stage, and they were having a good time, cuddling and massaging each other and spreading some Merby love.
Always got to love the Merby love. Shoves and hugs, I believe they call it now.
They would prefer a sauna, which is... I
think we all would.
We all would at this stage, a sauna and a shower. But I think the Finns are as prepared and ready as they'll ever be.
Well, they had the joys of being on the first bout of the day. Of course, the bouts today are all 60 minutes long, from what we can tell. Timeouts, official timeouts, team timeouts, everything is running as regular again today, as opposed to the 30 minutes we were running yesterday. So games are back to standard play. They played their first bout, as you mentioned earlier this morning. Yes, we've... Sorry,
somebody just flashed a badge, announcer badge. I thought I had to identify myself, so I held it up like...
We're getting thrown out already. We're not meant to be here, apparently.
Yeah, exactly.
They tracked us down. I thought I'd hidden myself so well.
Yeah.
No, we are back to hour-long bouts. They won for Finland earlier on. They were the first bout on of the day. They were on at 10 o'clock this morning. So they've had quite some time in between their first bout to, as you say, relax, calm themselves down. But a lot of skaters do worry when they take part in tournaments like this. If they play the first bout in the day and then aren't playing until later at night, is how much time they have to, their muscles start to relax after such a vigorous exercise for the first hour. They do worry that will that affect them negatively when it comes into the game. So although the Netherlands have had no play at 8 at all, they may well have the benefit going into this, and that they don't have that negativity around what Finland had earlier.
True, true. And right now, teams lining up for the equipment check. Just as a motorist, when you're getting out in traffic, you got to make sure you got your tires pumped. And let's do the Dutch and Finnish lineup, if you would be so kind,
Indeed, I will take the Netherlands lineup. Starting off, you got 03, the Fairy Godfather. Number 11 is Monkey Chopper. 114, Rip Snorter. Number 1F, Untitled Russian. Number 2 is Animal, all in capitals. 3141 is Mastermind. Number 42, Kirk Ramett. Number 43, Halogene. 585 is Johnny B. Rude. 666, Nocturnal Damage. Number 68 is Tim Burr. 747, Captain Borderline. All the 8s, 8888 is Ben Van Hert. And number 981, Rudy Cartel.
And for Finland, we got 00 Kartunen. Quadruple 1s, Eeyore Block. Number 1701 is Wesley Crusher. 19 is Teenu. Number 383 is Jeesari Essaya. Number 42 is Captain Blockvius. 4 CID is Acertic Ferret.
We'll come back to them in just a moment. I think we're going now for the national anthem.
As this is the Netherlands' first bout of the day, we would like everybody to stand, please, for the Netherlands national anthem.
Some of the Dutch players singing there.
I think they had a bit of confusion with one of them. He went to stand while the national anthem was still playing, bless him. Getting caught up in the heat of the moment. He wants to get on track and just start skating oh so fast. Can't say I blame him. They've waited a long time for this bout for today. They're very keen to get underway. Some of the Dutch fans as well making some noise just at the end of the national anthem there. They're keen to cheer on their boys in orange.
And just the rest of the Finnish order roster: 41 Urpo Kekkonen, 51 Puto, 55 Kenny Superpowers, 77 Otto Pekkola, 78 Dumageddon, 86 Boka Kerandelin, and 8-bit is Vario.
Jam timer getting himself lined up. They're just about ready to get this first jam underway for Netherlands and Finland.
And of course the skaters are approaching us and they are concealed by the blockers, so we cannot identify them for you immediately, but
we'll get there.
I could guess at who is jamming for Finland, but I'll leave that to
it looks like Eeyore Block from what I can see from there.
He's one of the blockers. It's probably gonna be Wesley Crusher.
I'm a bit of a Trekkie, so I will be ecstatic hearing that name, but out first and taking lead jammer in the opening jam for the Netherlands is number 8888 Ben Van Hert.
Ben Van Hert, who actually skates here in Birmingham, does he not?
He does indeed. He's a local boy, so there's a lot of local love for Mr. Van Hert. As you can tell by the cheers coming in from the crowd back there. Strong opening jam from Ben van Hert. He's a quick skater. He gets off the mark quickly. Once he clears through that pack, he takes off like a rocket. He's gone.
And he does the brunt of the jamming work for the Netherlands. He's been well used during the duration of this tournament. And lurking behind those blockers for Finland, it is Captain Blockvius, number 42, and he's your lead jammer.
He goes through, he's skidding against number 2. Oh, Animal this time for the Netherlands. Looks like the Netherlands are starting the jam. One blocker down, a 4-on-3 advantage for Finland.
Nice low stance there for Blockvius, and he calls it in the seated position, picking up 4 points.
Unfortunate situation for Animal there. He went for an apex jump just at the end to try and lock some points on, failed, collided with a skater in midair, meaning he's now taking his seat in the sin bin. They'll be starting off with a power jam for Finland in this one.
And your go-to guy here for Finland, as so many times before, it's number 55, Kenny Superpowers. A lot of these Finns, they love their winter sports, of course. A lot of these skaters have been playing ice hockey. And as we well know, they are actually reigning junior world champions in ice hockey, and they picked up the bronze medal at the Olympics.
I wonder if Kenny Superpowers was one of those who've been trying out the skating. He shows some fantastic footwork again.
A lot of these Finns have been skating upon a frozen pond somewhere on one of those 1,000 lakes in Finland.
Loads of chance for them to practice across there if they so wish then in that sense. Oh, big hit right at the end, takes him down off track, but luckily enough for Kenny Superpowers, the blocker who took him down went off track as well, meaning he could just come back up and get himself back in play.
Yeah, calls it off and gets a well-deserved rest there.
Smart jamming again though from Kenny Superpowers. He realized that by calling it off when he did, they'd start this one off on a power jam situation again.
And let's see if we can pick up who this Finnish skater is. Is it Vario? Perhaps. We shall see. 8-bit. It's Wesley Crusher.
Got himself a very low start when he went on. Yep, unfortunately for Wesley Crusher, just as he was coming round the back of the jammer, one skate touchdown off track. He carried on going, didn't realize he'd crossed the line, and unfortunately it's a cut track called on Wesley Crusher. Power jam reversal now in favor of the Netherlands.
Yeah, and good communication there by their blockers, signaling to their jammer that they are indeed in a power jam situation.
Gives Animal a strong chance on putting some points on the board for the Netherlands now as he comes back out of the sin bin. He's completed his first pass through.
Pretty solid wall there.
Oh, Animal now unfortunately guilty of the same thing Wesley Crusher did. One skate comes down off track, crosses the line. He's now on his way back into the sin bin. Another cut track and another quick reversal of jammers.
So we'll see Wesley Crusher joining the fray. Approaching from the rear. Nudging, pushing, and trying to use.
Takes a
nice hit there, but manages to stay on his skates.
Just spun round, absorbed the brunt of the hit and used it to his own benefit, turned it into momentum and skated away out of it.
Well done. Absorbed it and used it to propel himself. Now being bounced around like a pinball. And just always on the edge there. I think he was out of bounds there again.
No, I think he got done for it was either a high block or blocking with the head. I think it was a high block he was called for.
His arms were flailing slightly there.
Once again, in the same jam, now we've had 3 reversals of jammers and power jam situations. Animal's back in now to try his luck.
And looks like this will run its course.
Big block on Animal at the end, takes him down off track.
So Wesley is in the Roller Derby City sin bin, or penalty box as we call it.
Going to start this one off now with a power jam for the Netherlands. Can't quite see from here who it is. The lights, obviously, as the day goes on, it has been getting that little bit darker in here.
Yeah, the lighting has changed, definitely. Could it be 888? Yes,
I
indeed.
think it is, yes.
Ben Van Hert.
Ben Van Hert back out jamming again and takes lead. Looks like Eeyore Block has been called for a cut track. He'll take his seat in the midnight, meaning Finland are down to just 3 blockers on track.
Van Hert just smashing through the Finnish block there. Powerful strides. Taking a few hits, managed to stay on his skates. Slams on the brakes, gets pushed back a little bit as Wesley Crusher is joining the action. And he calls that off wisely.
Sensible jamming again, just as Wesley Crusher comes to the back of the pack. Protect your own score. Don't risk pushing it too far. Call the jam off.
And the score it's tight. It's Finland 23, Netherlands 13. Only a 10-point game with 23 minutes on the clock. Good stuff.
Both teams starting this jam short, though. Looks like only 2 blockers for Finland and only 3 for the Netherlands to start off. So a light track and a full sin bin for once.
A little bit more space out there. Captain Blockvius fights his way right through the pack, and he's your lead jammer for Team Finland.
Makes full use of that extra space granted to him by the lack of blockers on track, spots a gap and just nips through as quick as you like.
Oh, his blocker's showing him where to go, where the door was open, and he calls it off quick.
Blockers doing exactly what every jammer wants them to do. They punch a hole to make the jammer's job just that little bit easier. And a coach for Team Finland only. She's a skater with Stockholm Roller Derby, and she represented Finland at the World Cup, the first World Cup, Women's Cup, and so she played in the first women's one, and
yeah,
now she's here helping the bench for the
exactly.
first men's one.
Yeah, historical stuff. Kenny Superpower getting pushed to the infield, has to start over. And he's down on his knees again.
Looks like a no pass, no penalty issued. Otherwise, it looks like Ben Van Hert would have taken lead jammer status there, but he missed out. Kenny Superpowers cleans through, takes lead, and smartly calls the jam off as quick as he can.
And Dutch picking up a couple there. 3 points.
Looks like they got 3 on the board. Just that one situation, looks like he passed just one of his teammates, Ben Van Hert, while knocked off track, meaning he doesn't get called for a cut track on it, but he loses the ability to gain lead jammer status as well. Shows just how important lead jammer status can be in games like this.
And it's Wesley Crusher again gaining lead status here for Finland.
Looks like Johnny B. Rude is jamming for the Netherlands this time, struggling a little bit, took a big block and went off track. 2 Netherlands blockers just went for one hit and missed.
Nice jump to the inside there from Wesley. And calling it off in the middle of the pack.
Yep, Netherlands blockers just got caught at the back, with Wesley Crusher taking lead jammer. Normally you want to try and get your blockers, if you're not lead, to the front of the pack and try and protect yourselves, but just caught short. But give his due to Johnny B. Rude, he still managed to get a point or 2 on the board for the Netherlands as well. Right
on, skate to the final whistle. And we got a team timeout here called by the Netherlands. So how about the Fast Girl Skates? One of our sponsors here, their knowledgeable staff represent all facets of roller derby, WFTDA, USARS, MRDA, JRDA, and banked. They can relate and have what you need. The largest selection on skates and gear for everyone. Women, men, juniors, it's about you.
It's all about those who get their time on track.
Correct.
I've spoke to quite a few skaters down here at this tournament, and they all say it's amazing the difference that the right equipment can have to the right skaters. Groups like Fast Girl Skates clearly cater for everyone. We thank them for it.
They have been serving skaters of all shapes and sizes since 2007. And back to the action here. There is a couple of pretty tall blockers there. I cannot see who will be jamming there for the Finns. I can see the panty of the Dutch skater, the jammer.
Yep, looks like. Yeah, we're now getting an official timeout, I think, as they try and clarify something themselves with the penalty box. You can see the skaters on track thinking we're set, we're ready to go. Oh, no, hang on, that whistle wasn't for us. We'll just hold fire and wait again just a few minutes.
Yeah, of course, the officials making sure that every point is counted and accounted for, and you know, making sure that this is going to be a fair result. General Teresa calling, withdrawing one of the skaters there. And we got Finland with 4 skaters and the Netherlands 3-3. And we're good to go.
One jammer, one pivot, one blocker for the Netherlands, working hard together as a team though. Ben Van Hert working his way, he's at the front, he's up against the last blocker, but...
Whoa, what a burst of speed there. Captain Blockvius, number 42 for Team Finland. But Ben Van Hert is in hot pursuit and not a good scoring opportunity. He calls it off, but that was fast and furious.
Absolutely brilliant. Just as that final Team Finland blocker was holding Ben Van Hert back, Captain Blockvius took advantage, nipped round the outside, took lead jammer, but again, Ben Van Hert did his best, held him back, chased him down and forced him to call the jam off early.
Good stuff. We got Kenny Superpowers in the starting line there for Team Finland.
I'll say this much, we have a tall jammer for the Netherlands, but again, we can just see the top of his head, so we're not entirely sure on who it is just yet.
No. Kenny's in the infield. Oh.
And it looks like a direction of gameplay called against the Netherlands jammer, which I think is untitled Russian.
Untitled Russian, and he is indeed a Russian. Kenny Superpowers is your lone jammer out there for Finland.
All the L's for Kenny Superpowers. He's alone and he's lead. Tries to throw a fake as he comes around the outside, flicks the hands, moves his body. Netherlands didn't quite buy it to start with, but Kenny spotted a gap and just nipped through the middle.
Great stuff with the head fakes. And easily to the inside there. Lots of room, picking up 5.
Strong blocking from his teammate Puto there by the outside. He just cleared a space around the inside. Jammers love the inside line. If your blockers can clear that space for you, they'll thank you for it. Yeah,
it's a shorter route, and it's harder to. Wouldn't it be? Is it harder to skate on the outside and the inside? I mean,
I've tried. I skate myself, and it's one of those, they learn to skate the diamond. You know, from outside line of the on the straightaways, you come from the court straight in the middle of the outside, cut across the inside line, back down the outside, and allows them to cross over constantly. But if they had to pick one to stick to, 90% of jammers will stick to the inside line. It's the easiest line for them to go. They can get low and cross over as they come round it. You try and cross over on the outside line, strong chance you're going to put your crossing skate down outside track, which no one wants to see.
It's a bit like speed skating, to say the least. Wesley Crusher, meanwhile, is your lead jammer for Finland again.
But just as he comes back up to the back of the pack, untitled Russian comes back into play.
Tries to pass low there, but gets pushed out of bounds. Calling it off there.
Untitled Russian just trying to come up, approach the back of the Finnish pack, wasn't able to do so.
Another 4 points on the board for Team Finland. They're now at 52 points, and the Netherlands 18. 17-17 remaining in the first period.
A strong showing from both teams. I wasn't sure what to expect, as we mentioned earlier, with the Finnish having played this morning and Netherlands not having played at all today. But they both came flying out of the blocks to start this one. They're not holding anything back.
No, it's fast. Oh my goodness, Captain Blockvius. Lead jammer there, nice little move, low stance, and just straightened himself up and starts powering powering down that highway.
Johnny B. Rude now jamming for the Netherlands as well. Can't quite make it back up to the back of the pack and get points on the board for them.
Another good call off there. Picks up the 4, calls it off. Fresh legs.
So many people out there think that jamming's just about doing laps, scoring points and passing as many opposing players as you can. You always have to be aware of what's going on around you. It's not just the blockers who have to watch the jammer. You have to watch the opposition jammer as well. If you know where they are, you know whether or not you can call it off or whether it's sensible to.
I'm always impressed. They seem to have eyes on the back of their head, these skaters. It's amazing.
I mean, to keep up the speeds that they do as well is ridiculous.
Ben Van Hert now.
Yeah.
Oh.
Shrugs off the last block, but it looks like Kenny Superpower is now trying to chase him down.
Yeah.
We've got a bit of a jammer chase going on as the pack speeds up just a bit as well.
Good stuff. And Ben Van Hert getting caught up there by Kartunen, making a great defensive play there.
Yep, he just missed out on calling it off quick enough, though. Looks like
Finland pick up 4 points and Ben Van Hert a single point, if my eyes do not deceive me.
They do not. You're bang on.
15.5 minutes left of this first half. It's time sure flies when you're having fun.
Indeed it does, and this bout has been a lot of fun to watch so far. Only halfway through the first half, which I suppose technically means we're a quarter way through the entire game. I was never good at maths as a child. I'll try to avoid that now.
Oh, well, I'll join you on that one. Wesley Crusher, again, a lead jammer for Team Finland.
I think you'd have to be good at maths to count the amount of points that Wesley Crusher's racked up on his own so far today for the Finland. He's been their strong jammer so far.
True, true.
1F, the untitled Russian, jamming once again for the Netherlands.
And again, spotting the Netherlands jammer there, seeing his, noting his position and calling it off. And just, clocking up the points. Yeah, and slowly increasing that lead.
It's not always about getting power jams in or natural power jams and scoring 20, 30 points in one jam. It's if you can constantly add a couple of points every jam and protect your own scoreline, you're going to come out the winner in the end. If you can stop the opposition from scoring, half the work's done.
Yeah. It's Captain Blockvius here now, doing battle at the front of the pack. He leans into a hit there, and he is your lead jammer again for Team Finland.
And Ben Van Hert used a fantastic shoulder, bounced off that Finnish block right at the end and just rolled himself through. Oh, tried it again into the back, just bounced off the Finnish blocker. He was going nowhere.
Both teams picking up some points there. I cannot, is it 4 apiece there perhaps?
Looks like 4 apiece from what I can see from here. I'm not entirely sure who that Finnish blocker was, but I think he needs to adopt the Wizards of Oz stance line. You shall not pass.
Yeah.
He was not going anywhere. You'll bounce off the back of me. I don't mind. Hit me all day long.
Yeah, he learned his lesson the first time and made Ben Hert pay.
Yeah.
It's Kenny Superpowers again for Finland. My goodness gracious, how did he find room to get out there? Like doing a little slalom, downhill skiing there. And he's your lead jammer for Team Finland.
Johnny B. Rude forced off track, recycled all the way to the back. He didn't realize just how far back he had to go there. Every time he came in behind one Finnish skater, another would appear from nowhere and just forced him back, back, back. He was almost 40 feet back from where the actual pack was.
And Kenny Superpowers has a good view, good long look at any gaps there in the wall there, and he just skips to the inside, little jump. And turning around, calling it off. He's got his opposing jammer in his sights. Good stuff. Picking up another 4 points for his Team Finland.
That takes them up to a total of, looks like 77 points now, up to the, I've got a referee standing in my way, 23 for the Netherlands. Those referees, they position themselves so well for what they want to see on track. Exactly. They don't help us any.
Well, they have to have the best view in the house, and we do not. But
no, this is true.
We'll have to make do with what we have.
Their job's more important than ours, I suppose.
Yes.
Looks like Wesley Crusher's now through first and takes lead jammer for Finland. Well, the untitled Russian crashes into the back of number 51. I believe that's
Oh.
Puto.
Wesley Crusher doing a sprint, like a 100-yard dash there, picking up 5.
5 points. He just skipped past the untitled Russian at the back.
Some roller disco, tap dancing, combo.
Some of the work that some of these skaters do just on their toe stops or on 2 wheels alone defies the laws sometimes. You can never understand how that's physically possible. I struggle when I've got all 8 wheels on the floor.
Yeah.
You take me to none or just 4, I'm out.
It's Captain Blockvius doing an approach, and he is lead jammer for Team Finland.
Ben Van Hert just got held up once again on that last blocker. The final finish blocker seems to be doing a power of work for them. At the front, they just hold back. Anytime Netherlands look like they're going to get lead jammer, that final blocker for Finland just holds him back. And before you know it, there's a Finnish jammer flying past and taking lead.
Yeah.
I think I'm starting to identify some of the helmet covers now. It looks like we've got Johnny B. Rude jamming for the Netherlands.
He's one of the bearded skaters in this, one of many bearded skaters in this tournament. And Kenny Superpowers, meanwhile, goes inside, and he's your lead jammer for Team Finland.
Johnny B. Rude just managed to keep himself on track. I think it was number 41 for Finland. Thought he'd taken him off. Johnny B. Rude kept one skate down on track and managed to skip through.
Urpo Kekkonen.
I trust you with the Finnish pronunciations more than I do myself.
I love it. Urpo Kekkonen, number 41, the pivot.
So you get that from a Scottish voice, it just goes Urpo Kekkonen. It doesn't quite have the same ring to it.
Urpo Kekkonen?
Yeah. You do a Scottish voice better than I do.
Oh, you're too kind, sir. I love the Scottish as well. I mean, when I talk to myself, when I'm in times of trouble and when I need a good talking to myself, then I use my Scottish accent, that little voice.
Just that wee voice.
That wee voice. And through the middle, here he comes again, Wesley Crusher, lead jammer for Team Finland.
He loves that line. He fakes he's going to go outside, inside, jumps, splits the pack, and just creams through the middle.
He's got this sort of, I don't know, jittery kind of style. He goes to one side of the,
He took a hit. He went down to one knee, somehow got back to his toe stops, and ran down the inside line.
It looked like that was like double time, like double the speed of light or something.
I'm not entirely sure how he managed that.
I don't know. It looks like he was going to fall. I don't know. It was just like somebody speeded up the film, like quick time. Incredible.
It's like being back watching one of the old Flapper movies, but there was a few slides taken out in between.
Exactly. Film buff. And now the walls are holding here for a second. Captain Blockvius says, I want to pass. And
takes a push off the back of his own blocker that shoves him through the front to get lead status.
He's off to the races. Ben Van Hert is being sent off.
I think he got called. One of the outside pack refs spotted something the jam ref didn't, and elbows major from Ben Van Hert as he tried to clear through the pack.
And Captain Blockvius there taking a look, seeing the opposition jammer in the box, and I don't know, maybe he needs a rest.
I think he looked like he took a bit of a knock.
He took a bit of a hit there, I think, and wants some fresh legs out there. And Kenny Superpowers will take over.
Yeah, no point pushing yourself too far. We have had a few injuries throughout this World Cup so far.
Yeah.
We don't want to see any more. The last thing we want is anyone getting injured.
No. Yeah, the next the pivot line is sponsored by GBEMS, the only UKRD endorsed medical team, the men in green, and they are doing a fantastic job here. And without them, without a doubt, there will be no bout. So our thanks go out to them, and some of them have even adopted Derby names on their uniforms.
Indeed.
Yeah. Kenny Superpowers here, doing what he does best, faking, deking, and picking up points. Five big ones. And Finland has just hit the century mark, the 100-point mark. 100. He bobs, he weaves like a Muhammad Ali, like a ring prize fighter.
Floats like a butterfly, skates like... I don't think Muhammad Ali skated. I don't think bees did either.
Skates like a bumblebee.
Yeah, there we go.
Or a angry bee.
It skates like an angry... Yeah, we'll go with angry bee. I like
bee.
angry bee. I get the feeling an angry bee would be fast.
Yeah. The Dance of the Bumblebees is a great song. Very hysterical. Is Spike Jones, is it?
I think you may be right.
But faster.
We won't sing. We'll avoid the singing part of this. Well, we talk for a living, but maybe singing's not the strongest part we've got.
No. Wesley Crusher in his stance for Team Finland.
He takes a really low stance, Wesley Crusher. He looks down, sees... It's almost like he wants to see the track ahead of him so he knows where he's going to go, where he wants to run to. No pass, no penalty call, despite one skate going down off track there for Wesley Crusher. Looks like Johnny B. Rude still having to work hard at the back of number 51 there for Finland.
Yeah, Wesley getting sent to the box here. Good opportunity here for the Netherlands to pick up some points.
Indeed, a forearms major called on Wesley there. Let's see what Johnny B. Rude can do now for the Netherlands. One of his blockers trying to punch a hole for him to go through.
Good stuff. 5 points for the Netherlands. 5 minutes remaining in the first period.
This is where power jams can make all the difference. It gives you a chance to claw back some points. If you're a losing team, you can try and claw the points back on and reduce that deficit. And if you can do it now, just as we're starting to approach the half-time mark, nothing's more of a confidence boost than putting some points on the board close to half-time.
And a boost for your confidence and your tactics and getting yourself ready for the second period here.
It'll get you psyched up. You can push rounds. Big block on there takes Johnny B. Rude down to the outside the track.
Vario.
Looks like Halogene, though, smart blocking there again. Forced his own blocker, forced the blocker he was up against actually to take a step off track.
Wesley. Oh, gets sent flying out of bounds.
Massive block on Wesley Crusher, sent him sprawling down to the floor. Beautiful spin though. Oh, he bounced off the back of a blocker, but the Netherlands pivot comes in out of nowhere and just knocks Wesley Crusher flying off the outside.
Yeah, both teams stepping up in the physical play there. Some great chain reaction type action there. Hitting and receiving, giving and receiving.
A lot of giving, a lot of receiving. Some massive hits put in.
Okay, and there will be some time changes for the bouts tomorrow, so please, everybody, watch the website for updates.
If you go over to the website, mrdwc.com, that'll keep you updated with everything you need for the scores tomorrow. But an update for this one, Finland through once more. Nice big apex jump, took him across, and he takes lead jammer status. That's number 41, I believe you're...
Urpo Kekkonen.
I love when you say that.
Oh, and he calls it off.
Was that his first time jamming for this bout? I think it may have been.
It is.
Clearly did it to his best advantage.
A little momentum shift there for the Finns as well. Currently at 119 points, the Netherlands sitting at 39 points. Kenny superpowers to jam for the Finns.
Starting this one off with a power jam to the Finns as well.
2.5 minutes remaining in the half.
Only 2 blockers on track for the Netherlands now as well. Oh, Kenny superpowers. The referee was pointing to him to declare lead. He would have taken it if he hadn't put his foot back down on track. He cuts and he's on his way to the sin bin.
Yeah, it looked like he had time to change his mind there too, and it was right in front of us. It's Ben Van Hert.
He's back out of the penalty box, but no lead jammer status for him.
but he will do everything he can to pick up points here at the conclusion of this first half.
Oof,
Ben Van Hert.
Finish wall is just standing strong.
Ends up on his posterior. And meanwhile, Kenny Superpower is just slicing his way through the Dutch blocker.
Back in, Ben Van Hert there though showed great footwork to just slam the brakes on and avoid a block from the finish.
Eeyore Block amongst others. Great action.
There's some fantastically timed hits being put in from both teams here. I mean, the Finnish walls are standing strong. They're not letting Ben Van Hert get through.
And Kenny, that low stance again, fighting off some attention there, picking up another 4 points.
Looks like just a little bit of confusion for one of the Finnish blockers there. I believe it was Eeyore Block. Wasn't sure he was getting called, stepped off. Penalty box is currently full though, so he's really straight back into play to serve his time when a space becomes available for him.
And he takes a spill. And no points on the board there for the Netherlands, not pass, or for Finland. Finland now 131, Netherlands 56, and let's see if we can get another jam going here at the conclusion of the first period.
Think they may have time if the referees clarify their position there. It looks like we're set.
It looks like Captain Blockvius for Finland, but they call it off. We will have a 15-minute recess, so
scores currently stand: Finland 131, Netherlands 56. That's half time from us here. We'll go to some adverts next. We'll be back with the second half in around 15 minutes time. Stick around.
Power Jam!
Handsome Johansson.
You are Handsome Johansson, indeed. I am Smack Daddy. We're back here. We're on mic. We're ready to go. We've got about a minute or so till we get this second half of Netherlands versus Finland underway. Just a reminder about the message we passed on to you earlier. The times for tomorrow's game have changed. For full updates, you can go to the website mrdwc.com. They'll update you. You can have a look, see who's playing when. Get yourself all set for it. I think the skaters are on track. We look like we're about ready to get this second half just about underway.
And it's your Wesley Crusher here for Team Finland.
And it looks like Ben Van Hert is going to be starting off jamming this one for the Netherlands. Netherlands put in a strong showing towards the end of that first half. They managed to get themselves some more points on the board, cut that score down ever so slightly. That'll have given them a confidence boost coming into this second half. Yeah,
coming into the second half with some energy as well, and you know, believing that they can, anything is possible, they can pull this off. And you know, it's all to play for, and good work and dedicated game play by both teams.
Jam whistle goes. Ben Van Hert trying to squeeze his way around the outside, just nudged off track though there by, where are we? That was 00 Kartunen for Finland.
And Wesley Crusher surrounded by orange. Takes a jump, lands on his knees, and Ben Van Hert is your lead jammer.
He gets through the outside and takes lead. A fantastic jump though from Wesley Crusher. Tried to avoid the Netherlands blocker who'd gone down in front of him. Skipped over the top of him.
And Ben Van Hert wisely calls that off. He could feel Wesley creeping up on him.
Breathing down the back of his neck, hunting him down, ready, forcing him to call the jam off.
Definitely. A bit of a discussion amongst the officials. We have some of the best.
Some of the best throughout the entire world taking part in this tournament. They've done a fantastic job so far. Games and tournaments like this cannot take part without the officials crew. And the official crew we have for these, I mean, some of our tournament head referees, I know Cherry Fury has unfortunately now had to sit down through injury. She hasn't been able to referee at all today, but the crews that they've put together are just phenomenal. Not just the skating officials, but the non-skating officials as well. Their work in keeping the track set, track of the score, track of the penalties has been second to none, and we can't do games like this without them.
Definitely. Well said, well put.
Just as we talk about them as well, looks like we're getting a short official timeout here while the referees clarify something.
And if you're enjoying listening, drop us a few quid, dollars, zloty using the link on the broadcast page. Split 50-50 between us and teams' travel funds. And I do not believe that the us are us, the announcers.
No, we're not that lucky, but the skaters on track need all the help they can to pay for things like this. It's all very much appreciated. Looks like untitled Russian gets through first and takes lead jammer. He seems to have been given a bit of an energy boost during that halftime break. He's skating like a man possessed just now.
Fantastic speed there. Low stance for a big man. Really just, nice stuff to the inside there.
Lovely little apex jump. Not the biggest one, but spots a gap. Just a tiny little jump. Takes full advantage of it and gets himself through to the front, and 4 points onto the board for the Netherlands.
Excellent start here to the second half for the Netherlands.
Looks like there's a pivot in the box just now. He's serving 2 minutes, not just for a cut track, also for a low block. I believe that's the Netherlands pivot. During that jump, as we saw Wesley Crusher try to go over him, he cut track, but caught Wesley Crusher as well as he tried to go over. 2 minutes in the penalty box for him.
Yeah, Wesley Crusher, they're leaping to safety.
Good job he did.
He did. Kenny's superpowers getting a heavy hit, leaned upon by the Dutch blocker, but escapes and is your lead jammer.
That was Kirk Ramett just trying to get in a final block as Kenny superpowers went past. He couldn't get all of it. Kenny skipped off once again around the outside for another 5 points and a grand slam on the board for Finland.
It looks like he was using the Dutch blockers there like a sliding door, just moving them out of the way.
Took full advantage for the momentum. Johnny B. Rude now jamming. He was forced off track, but unfortunately the blocker who took him went off with him, meaning he can now come back in and complete his initial pass.
Kenny up at the front, duking it out with the Dutch blockers and calls it off.
Sees Johnny B. Rude having a tough time fighting his way through the blockers at the back of the pack. He did get 2 points on the board though for the Netherlands.
And 4 for Kenny superpowers.
The plus point about the 2 for the Netherlands, Finland might have scored more, but they didn't come off that jam with 0 points. They still managed to get 2 on the board. Yeah, Wesley Crusher here during this bout, not just this bout, but during the entire tournament. He's a very popular man, on track and off, from what I can tell.
A good guy to have in the locker room.
A good guy to have in the locker room, better guy to have on track.
Yeah, and here he is again, Wesley Crusher, fighting his way to the front. Takes a spill. And he is your lead jammer. He calls it off. He sees that Ben escapes the pack and quickly calls it off.
You can see sometimes at the end of these jams, some of the skaters are still making their way off track. They're so eager to get the game back underway. The next set's already on track, lined up on the line and ready to go.
They are eager.
Can't say I blame them either, despite 105 to game this one. Netherlands staging a bit of a comeback.
Indeed, indeed.
Trying to help that along for them as the untitled Russian jamming completes his initial pass.
And the Dutch seizing the opportunity here.
And as they do so, Captain Blokvius has been sent to the penalty box for a cut track, meaning we've now got a power jam situation for the Netherlands. Untitled Russian takes full advantage, puts another 4 points on the board for the team in orange.
And the Finns only have, they have 3 skaters on the track here. A little bit more room here for the Netherlands. Great opportunity. And very important, try to make the most of this. But the Finns aren't going to let him go easily and without a fight.
Nope, that was your man Urpo Kekkonen, I believe. Putting in a fantastic block right at the end, just slid in out of nowhere, hit checks the Finnish blocker. or hip checks, sorry, he is the Finnish blocker, hip checks the Netherlands jammer. Seems to be those two pairing off once again at the front, but from what I can see, looks like Urpo Kekkonen's leg, his skating actually came down off track and he continued to block, meaning he now goes to the penalty box for a minute, blocking out of bounds from what I could see there.
A lot more room now on the track here. Excellent opportunity here for the Dutch.
Untitled Russian, once again, as he approaches the back of those two Finnish blockers, he just forces his way through, but Captain Blockvius now back in play. He's on a scoring pass, straight in, straight through, 4 points on the board for Finland.
Be interesting to see here how he calls this. He's going to keep going for more points here.
I'm not sure, do we have a lead jammer for this one?
Where does it duration?
I think we just ran the full 2 minutes down.
And no points there on the board for the Dutch. I believe the Finns picked up 4.
Yep, nothing on that final pass for the untitled Russian, but he put in a power of work there for the Netherlands. Made full use of the power jam status that he was given.
And Netherlands now 77 points, Finland 149.
They've cut that deficit down to less than half now if they can keep chipping away at it as this half goes on. Netherlands still in with a big shout in this one. Oh, unfortunately Ben van Hert thought he'd held his line, just forced off track, lost his footing as he went.
Kenny Superpowers, the lead jammer, takes a look down the track here to see where his opposing, it's Ben van Hert. He's on all fours, out of bounds.
No pack called by the referee. The Finnish blockers just trying to bridge back and force Ben van Hert as far back off track as they can. Back in play now, though. He's squaring up once again. It looks like that's number 186 for Finland. Whoa, no, it might have been 8 bits. I struggled to read the numbers there.
Vario.
No points on the game there for the Netherlands, but another 4 for Team Finland.
Consistently increasing their lead.
Just ever so small. Ticking this little point here, little point there, and as we discussed earlier, just a couple of points per jam can make all the difference.
Looks like the officials, as I'm discussing, there's taking a look at the track.
Yeah, I think they're just checking what's going on, checking with our non-skating officials while they do that. Handsome Joe, I believe you've got something to inform the audience.
Yeah, the MRD, all the teams competing in the Men's Roller Derby World Cup, the best of luck this weekend. The MRDA is the international governing body for men's flat track roller derby and wants you to join them in the growing world of men's roller derby. For more information about joining and the benefits of being part of the MRDA, visit them at mensrollerderbyassociation.com or send inquiries to info@mensrollerderbyassociation.com.
I think a lot of people watching these bouts at home over the last 2 days and tomorrow as well, the Men's Roller Derby Association are going to have a lot of inquiries sent to them.
Definitely.
I'm going to take a stab in the dark at that being a Wesley Crusher for Team Finland jamming now. As soon as you can see the jammer, I assure.
Oh, they're neck and neck here. Look at this.
Looks like Netherlands got through first and took lead, but we've got some jammer on jammer chasing going on now. Johnny B. Rude realising one of his own blockers was drifting to the back, and as he approached, Wesley Crusher could have overtaken him, put a point on the board for Finland, so Johnny B. Rude calls the jam off.
Now we can't see anything. We got a camera and a cameraman and a cameraman's assistant blocking our view here, but we got 20. Yeah,
I think we've got 158 to Finland, 77 to the Netherlands with just over 21 minutes to go.
And Captain Blockvius just barrels through the Dutch wall and is your lead jammer. Ben van Hert escaping there himself.
Yep, the Finnish blocker realising Ben van Hert down when he can drop back and help Captain Blockvius through. Does it successfully, puts 4 points on the board before calling the jam.
162
to 77. I think we've, 20 minutes, 30 seconds, 20 and a half left to go in the second half.
The Netherlands down 2 blockers here.
Russian. No such luck for them though. Kenny Superpowers gets through first and takes lead for Finland.
Oh, a big hit
Russian
there.
At the end, trying through.
A string of hits.
He was used like a pinball, bounced from one Finnish blocker to the other before bouncing to the floor.
Kenny calls it off. His coach urging him to call it off as well. Only the head coach there from the Team Finland member.
Some of the crowd here doing their best to try and get the Finns motivated, but it looks like the Netherlands fans are going to do their best to rally round their team now and push round, see if they can push and stage this comeback that they're looking for.
Your block right at the front there, paving the way.
Fantastic movement from Ben Van Hert. Dropped the shoulder, dropped low, glided round the outside of 2 Finnish blockers.
Great stuff, Ben Van Hert.
He's been such a strong skater for the Netherlands in this one. He's getting low, his position and his body style is just, it's a thing of beauty to watch from Ben Van Hert.
And he is on home soil.
Is indeed, he's clearly feeding off the energy he gets back from these crowds.
Yeah, and he's got picked up 2 there, so Netherlands now at 79. The Finns, as they usually so often do, they picked up 4.
Yep, that puts them on 169 now. Looks like, I think, Johnny B. Rude is going to jam this time for the Netherlands as their 2 blockers on track to take a quick run forward for a pivot line start.
Captain Blokvius sees the opening and his lead jammer.
I think the 2 Netherlands blockers there just a little bit confused about how they were going to set themselves up. One was called to false start. He's now going to skate all the way around the other side of the track. Captain Blokvius takes full advantage.
5 points. Sizing up the opposition, the position of the jammers and blockers on the track.
Johnny B. Rude just forced off on the outside of the track for the Netherlands. He's now back in play, recycled all the way to the back. Comes back in, a hip check catches him heavy and he goes down to his knees.
Oh,
massive block at the back as well. Puts him down, his skates went ahead of him. He was just gone off his feet.
Huttu Urko Kekkonen doing great, dealing out some damage.
The 2 Netherlands blockers are trying to work hard. They don't seem too obvious about where Captain Blokvius is. They're trying their hardest to actually work and create a space for their jammer to go through.
And the Dutch blockers returning the favor there and hitting Captain Blokvius right into the infield. And
you can tell.
He gives the opposition there. Captain Blokvius taps. Thanks, that was a good hit.
Yeah, you can tell it was a big hit when both skaters don't actually move far. They collide, go up and down. There was no backwards or forwards motion from them. Up, down, thank you very much. And the officials give us a quick signal. They're going for another official timeout, just trying to clear things up.
Yeah, we got some fantastic matchups coming up tomorrow.
Yep, it looks like after these games that were played earlier on, we're going to see tomorrow the USA taking on Team Canada. That is a massive bout that I think everyone here wants to see. I'm sure the crowd will be drawn for that one. We're going to have England taking on Team France, Scotland taking on Team Wales, a bit of a Celtic connection for the 2 there, and Australia will take on Argentina. That's the semi-finals for the main trophy here for us, which of course is the Spirit of Derby Cup, on top of which is Apex Rex. So your teams taking part in the semi-finals. USA and Canada will take on England and Team France. Scotland against Wales, and Australia and Argentina. They'll be playing off for the plate. It's an all to play for tomorrow. There's a lot of skating to go on.
And for the bowl, we have Germany and Finland. And for the jug, Belgium and Sweden.
Still a lot of derby action for us to get through tomorrow. It's going to be a massive day.
This must be some, yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Somebody's written this into the bracket. Somebody, maybe someone knows something we do not.
Well, the way
you play to the final whistle and anything's
possible. The way things are
possible.
going just now, if we took the scoreline as it stands now, it will be Germany and Finland for the bowl. But Netherlands are staging a little bit of a comeback. They put some points on the board. If they can do that, it'll be themselves facing Germany tomorrow instead of Finland.
They are working their butts off.
Doing their absolute best. A little jump from the Netherlands pivot there to avoid his own blocker who'd gone down to ground. There again, Smart realises the Netherlands jammer's making his way through. Don't risk it, call the jam off, save your points at the back. They've got just over 16 minutes left to go in this bout. You don't want to be giving away any points that are unnecessary.
No, and I believe that the Netherlands are sending in a jammer that we have not seen so far in this bout.
It certainly looks like it, because I don't recognize him from here. He's getting a big cheer from the crowd, though. They know who he is. They're keen for it. The one negative for them, they've only one blocker on track right now.
Oh, and Wesley Crusher picking up lead almost instantaneously. Who is this bearded jammer? Oh,
don't know,
nice
but he
little
puts in a massive hit to go through. It looks like Kirk Ramett.
Kirk
can understand where he's getting that name from, to be honest, because he just rammed his way through the Finnish blockers at the back.
And the timing changes now for the both plate and cup finals are now 2 hours earlier. That's the main message. So check the website, MRDWC.com.
There's so many initials to remember in roller derby.
There are plenty of initials.
Yeah, MRDWC.com. They'll give you all the information for all the timing changes. They're now being played 2 hours earlier, the finals for the cup and the plate. But all the details as to who's playing and the exact times can be found on their website.
And check which time zone you're in as well, for you people watching from all over the world.
Oh, Kirk Ramett takes a big hit to the edge from that man again, Urpo Kekkonen. He's been blocking so strong. He's in pivot position this time for Team Finland, but man, that guy can hit.
Yep. Oh, another. He's putting up a collection of hits here. He's probably working on his debut album.
Kirk Ramett, I think, is going to have the numbers 41 imprinted on his body when he comes off from this. Unfortunately, he does take one hit too many. Knocks him off a little bit of balance, came back in, cut track, meaning it's now a power jam situation for the Finns.
Wesley Crusher.
Yeah, pushes the last two Netherlands blockers all the way to the front, forces them out to play. They have to relinquish, relieve, and stand by, let the jammer through.
They're doing everything they can. A nice hit there.
Massive block. That's number 666, Nocturnal Damage.
Nocturnal Damage, dealing out some damage there. Great work for Team Netherlands.
Undoubtedly been one of the strongest blockers for the Netherlands in this. I'm a firm believer in the less you talk about one particular blocker, it means the better job he's doing. In the Canada-Wales game earlier, it was M4 Tank for Team Canada. You didn't see him much because he's always at the front doing that vital job of just shutting down the jammer before they can clear through. As they slow him down, it allows the rest of his blockers to catch up, close down the space. They recycle, reform, and straight away from having one, slows you down enough to the point where you're now surrounded by four.
A little bit of that, the unsung hero. You don't notice them, but they're always there in the right position, doing some excellent work.
The jammers can always tell where they are.
Yes.
it looks like now all the pool play has obviously been completing. The seeding will be set. Tomorrow we will crown the winners of the first ever MRDWC World Cup as they compete for the Spirit of Derby Cup, which I believe is made of pewter and is topped by the wonderfully magnificent Apex Rex.
And it was a sort of a replica of a Brummie player from the Crash Test Brummies.
Crash Test Brummies.
Yeah. Made by derbyjewelry.co.uk.
We thank Derby Jewelry for providing the trophy for this. Whoa!
Captain Blockvius takes a spill there. Oh, just avoids a check now. Charged his way in.
Absolutely smashed his way into the back of the Netherlands pack. Hit the deck, but forced them down as well.
And he approaches them again.
Puts the brakes on this time though. Doesn't crash through the back, just puts the brakes on, slows down. No point risking a back block. Keep yourself on track. Can't score points if you're sitting in the penalty box. And unfortunately, the Netherlands are finding that out to their cost just now. They've got a full competent of blockers up against Captain Blockface, though. They're working hard.
They're working hard. They're working really hard to contain him. Everything they can, and here he comes again. Oh, we're getting a panty pass here.
Looks like he's trying to pass it off to their pivot, which I think is the Untitled Russian.
The Untitled Russian.
Oh, he's put the panty on his head, and just as he completed it, he stepped off track, back on. He's cut in front of someone.
Unfortunate, blinded by that panty.
Absolutely completed the star pass, but unfortunately, as the jammer, he now serves the time in the penalty box for them.
And done for this afternoon. Rip Snorter, number 114.
Yep, he won't be taking part in this bout anymore, unfortunately for him. And unfortunately for Team Netherlands. Again, he was a big hitter earlier on. They could have used him as this game draws to a close.
Finland now 248, Netherlands 79.
Captain Blockface getting a high five from his bench manager. A strong jamming set from him in that one.
Looks like we got Kenny's superpowers here going to go at it here for Team Finland again. Pretty even, they're rotating those jammers. And we're seeing a lot of them, and so have the Dutch.
Yep.
Superpowers, and sometimes they'll throw in Vario.
Yep, looks like we're getting another quick official timeout now with just over 11.5 minutes left to go in this one.
And we are at the Quad Skate Shop track. Europe's original brick and mortar roller derby equipment supplier, Quad Roller Skate Shop has the best selection and most stock of any store on the continent. With excellent consultation services only a fellow skater could provide, we've got all your needs covered. We love this game. Now the Dutch have picked up their game here. I mean, for I think that they believe they've been skating together for. I've read somewhere they've been. They have to gather. They have to. Some of the skaters are from the north of Netherlands and some from the south, so they have not practiced a lot and not played a lot, but they are learning.
Yep.
Learning the hard and best way at this tournament, and. I think they're coming together more and more as this tournament has progressed.
To be fair to the Netherlands, you wouldn't be able to tell how inexperienced some of their skaters are just by watching them on track. Some of the hits that they put in have been absolutely fantastic. They've picked this game up in a short space of time, and they're performing to the level where they're able to compete at this level in the first ever Men's Roller Derby World Cup. You really can't describe I mean, a lot of people might look at this game and think, you know, it's people skating around in circles. There is so much to pick up, and the fact that the Netherlands have done it in such a short space of time is a huge credit to both them, their bench, and everyone who's worked hard to make this happen for them.
And hard work pays off, and some of these skaters, this is their first tournament ever, some of the Team Netherlands skaters, so it's all credit to them.
Indeed. Number 86, Bukaki Randolin now. He takes a seat in the penalty box for Finland. Looks like a clockwise block or a stop block picked up for him there.
And one of their skaters, cannot remember. They have a few injuries as well. Team Netherlands.
Yeah. They have been unfortunate again with their injuries. It's just such a shame for them.
For example, number 505, Rolling Reckless. He's one of the founding fathers of men's roller derby in the Netherlands. He is the most injured player ever. He always seems to pick up an injury just before a tournament. And in the game against Argentina, he picked up a couple of cracked ribs. So he is unable to help his team here. But I think they're stepping up. They are stepping up and doing their best.
His team are fighting their lives for this one, and they're doing their injured teammates who can't be here extremely proud. Netherlands now just, you can see, I think it's starting to take their toll on them ever so slightly. After each jam, as they're coming off, they're slowly making their way back towards their bench. But again, to their credit, the skaters coming on track are on in the blink of an eye.
And they're skating at full strength here, so let's see how they can take advantage of this situation. But Captain Blockvius finds a way. He's their lead jammer.
He just spotted a small gap on the inside, but it was big enough for him to squeeze through.
Now the Dutch are rallying here, trying to pick up and slow down his progress, Captain Blockvius. But this pack is speeding up.
Yep, the Netherlands look like they're trying to speed up, get themselves to the front, clear a bit of a space through. Unfortunately, just that little bit too slow. Captain Blockvius spots a gap the outside this time. He seems to see gaps where no one else can see them.
They were in a bit of disarray there, trying desperately to find out where he was going to turn up, Captain Blockvius. And there was a hit. There was an attempted hit there at the end, but just missed.
Yeah, nocturnal damage that time. Just trying to catch him, force him off track on the outside.
I can't blame them from the effort. I mean, that was at high speed.
Looks like Finland now are only starting this one off with a two-blocker disadvantage,
Beautiful.
And Netherlands take full advantage. Number 8888, that's Ben van Hert. Two Finnish blockers, not enough to hold Ben van Hert back.
And let's see here, it's a nice little opportunity here for the Dutch. They're speeding things up.
The two Finns are trying to keep the speed as quick as they can at the front, force Ben van Hert to keep chasing, try and tire him out. He sees it's not going to happen, it's not going to work. He's not going to burn himself out right now with this to go.
Frustrating, but great job skating at full speed there, the entire Dutch team.
Yeah, Finland now one blocker to the good this time. They're only down to 3. Still one blocker down though. Let's see if the Netherlands can take advantage of it again this time. They've still got 4 on track. Oh, they tried so hard to come around the outside. Looked like Puto that time.
Nice hit
forces
there.
him off. And he's through. The untitled Russian takes lead once again for the Netherlands.
Great stuff, great effort.
Look how low a man of his size gets coming through the turns.
Good hits there by his blockers there to allow him to gain lead jammer status.
Yeah. Luckily, during these shows, it's not just the announcers who work hard to bring you all the action for this. We do have producers who help us out as well. They're not perfect, they're not the greatest, but without them, we wouldn't be able to work.
No.
They feed us the information, we relay it to you. We do apologise if we make mistakes every so often. The one thing that's not a mistake is Ben van Hert's jamming. Once again through and taking lead. Second time in 3 jams he's been out first, takes lead for Netherlands.
Let's see if he gets rewarded. He calls it off.
Vario that time, I believe, trying his best to hold them back. Got low and forced Ben van Hert off track. Didn't stop him putting 2 points on the board though.
He picked up 2 points for his team Netherlands.
Our producer for this show is, of course, the fantastic Bob Noxious, who I co-announced with earlier on. Clearly he's better off on the mic than off it. Maybe we should make sure he's doing that tomorrow. Hey, who am I to criticise? I'm new. Yeah, it looks like tomorrow we've got no guarantee as to who will be playing for the bowl just yet.
Kenny Superpowers, meanwhile, is bouncing off some Dutch attention here and picking up lead. But even the Dutch jammer has escaped and is given chase.
Yeah, it won't be Germany taking part in the final for the bowl tomorrow, so we do apologise for that. It will actually be Ireland playing for the bowl. They'll be facing the winners of this bout, be it Finland or the Netherlands.
Finland picking up another 2 points there and sitting at 272 points. The Netherlands, 81, clawing away.
Still doing their best, just picking off points towards the back. There's just over 4 minutes 15 left to go now for this one.
Yeah, they've the Netherlands definitely have gained a lot of momentum here and playing really well, skating together, helping each other in a great way.
That last few jams did so much for them when they were able to power through and take lead. This time it's Wesley Crusher who does it for Finland.
I mean, and they're learning, they're getting a lot of experience here, building like team spirit, and you know, their work rate is immense.
Yep, we've got Puto on his way to the penalty box this time for a cut track. It's not very often you see cut track from blockers. It is more of a jammer penalty than a blocker penalty, but it does still happen.
And Ben Van Hert having another strong, putting on another strong shift as jammer. And I think, we have the tall bearded one from the Netherlands?
I believe that'll be Johnny B. Rude.
And for the Finns, it's Captain Blockvius.
Netherlands starting off at a 2-blocker. No, it's just a 1-blocker disadvantage, actually. 2 on 3 this time. They take a quick jump forward, ready for a pivot line start.
And the time changes for these.
Yeah, I believe it's for the cup and I believe it's the cup and the plate, or the cup and the bowl finals have been pushed back.
Yeah.
Brought forward, sorry, tell a lie.
2 hours.
Yep, so they'll be 2 hours earlier tomorrow. You can get the information on who's playing and the exact times by going to mrdwc.com. Everything will be listed on there for your viewing pleasure, just like this bout that we're witnessing here with 2.5 minutes left to go. It's the Netherlands versus Finland. Finland leading 286-81.
And currently enjoying a power jam. A nice little defensive block there. Oh, and Finn on Finn action.
Yep.
Ran into his own blocker there, Captain Blockvius.
He was being sent off track for a cut track, and as he did so, it looked like Captain Blockface was being recycled to the back, collided blocker with jammer off track. It's never nice when you get hit. It's even worse when you get hit by your teammate.
Well, if your teammate, you should know where your teammates are, but sometimes they just magically appear where you least expect them. We got 1 and just under 2 minutes remaining in this boat.
Yeah, for all those listening in North America, it looks like those time changes will mean you'll get a little bit of a lie-in now.
And that would apply for South America as well. So Buenos Aires and Chile, we've had some viewers from Chile watching this tournament as well. You'll have a bit of a lie-in.
Definitely some from Buenos Aires as well. Obviously Argentina earlier putting in, again, some fantastic performances. They were reduced, unfortunately, with their skaters through injuries. Big shame for them.
But they sent 8 of their best.
They did indeed, and they did their country proud.
As are the Dutch and the Finns.
Yep, Johnny B. Rude jamming again now for the Dutch. Tries to take a jump, collides with his own skater, unfortunately, who'd taken a spill in front of him. Just saw him at the last minute, missed him, tried to jump over him, and caught him with his trailing leg.
It looks like he used him as a stool, his own player there.
I was waiting for him to stand on his back and jump over everyone else.
Scaling that wall.
Hey, little apex jump there from Nocturnal Damage. Gets himself back into position at the front of the pack, trying his... and then turns and falls.
Oh, he was just eyeballing him, trying to set him up there. Number 666 for the Dutch. Great stuff. Focusing, staying focused to the very end here of this bout. Excellent stuff.
Kenny's superpowers there, just calling the jam off casually. Cruises along down the line. Hands to hips, he's doing it again now. I think one of the things the jam referees always look for in this is the hands actually touching the hips at the side. Too many jammers at a time have been touching too high up their body. The jam referees won't acknowledge that. You have to touch your hips. And it looks like now that's it. Time has run down. Finland are your winners here today. We'll wait just to get an update on the official score, but a massive congratulations to Team Netherlands.
And massive, for the win, and the Dutch for a great effort. They really put it together here for the last bout and gave it their all.
The Netherlands have been fantastic throughout this tournament. All credit to them. It looks like Finland now will go into the final for the bowl tomorrow to take on Team Ireland. That'll be a massive game for them. I have been one of your hosts, Smack Daddy, for this one, joined by the man to my right.
Handsome Joe Hansen.
You never know, you might hear from us again tomorrow. Check mrdwc.com for all time changes. We'll see you all again tomorrow.
And a great group rally.